You will never catch me hating on education. It is so important, but the way we go about it is not for me. I hated college, but I'm kinda glad I did it. So here's my honest review on my experience. I didn't always plan on going to college. When I first graduated high school, I didn't make it into my dream school, and I gave up on the entire thing. My whole view for my future was shattered because a room full of people who had never met me decided arbitrarily that I wasn't good enough to go to their school. How could this be? I was the main character. So I dissolved into self-pity and gave up on my life, but then my mom took me to a local school that actually did accept me and bought me a big sweater, and I guess that was enough to sway me. So there I went. I wasn't going to college because I believed in myself. I was going because I was extremely lucky to have parents who were supporting me through it. And so I chose to pursue graphic design on a whim because I thought it was a stable career choice since AI art didn't exist yet.
That's awesome.
I was pitched that graphic design was like art, but a career. Perfect choice. I have since regretted this decision, but I'll get into that later. But whenever I would have to go to class, something I would often ask myself was, why do I feel so much dread right now? Why does learning have to be such an excruciating experience for me? I love to learn, and I get to learn about art, my favorite thing, but I hate school. Why is that? And so I would think about it a lot, and something I started to notice was I felt like I was competing against everyone around me. Who will get the best grade? Who will get the best job someday? Who will get the teacher's approval? Like, I had a professor who would even keep his favorite projects to submit them to contests, and then he would pass back all the unworthy projects back to us in front of everyone. And it was very demotivating. It didn't feel like it mattered what I thought of my own art. It just mattered what the inconsistent subjective opinions of my professors were. I had some good ones, and especially I learned that I love adjunct professors. Those are the people who only teach part-time and are actually in the industry. And in general, they were a lot more personable and had way better information than the tenure full-time faculty that made it feel like school wasn't about learning. It was so I could add a bachelor's degree to my resume. It felt like an obligation, not an opportunity. And what made it worse is that I had to take a bunch of stupid classes that I didn't want to take simply to fulfill a requirement. Like, I understand the purpose of generals to an extent, but I'd be a whole lot happier having to take them if they didn't cost thousands of dollars. So much of my experience in college was me feeling like I was getting scammed out of every dollar they could take from me. I'm afraid that too many of my videos just turn into me ranting about capitalism, but here I go. Money makes everything worse, including education. Tell me, why do I have to pay to park at a school that I already paid to go to? And it's not like there was ever enough parking anyways, so I would pay hundreds of dollars to park like a mile away from my class. Even paying for my cap and gown felt like a scam, cause why does it need to cost like $200 for a little dress and a hat made out of the cheapest wrinkly tablecloth ass dollar store fabric I've ever seen? I could shit out a higher quality robe. And I've looked into it, and every school just goes through this one company, Justin's. And since they just have a monopoly on robes, we all have to pay excruciating amounts of money. But I guess the tens of thousands of dollars wasn't enough for me. And so I would pay to go to classes I didn't want to go to. And the more disenchanted I would get with my classes, whether it be because of a shitty professor or just the fact that I felt like I was being forced to be there, I could not, for the life of me, pay attention. I guess you could say that I have like a deficit or something when it comes to paying attention. You could like almost call it a disorder or something. I think that's what the doctor was trying to tell me before he gave me all that medicine that gave me the shakes. But school was excruciating for me. I don't think school is set up for the ADHD folk, I'll tell you what. And one semester, all the classes I needed to take were all offered on the same day. So 2 days of my week were devoted to being on campus from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. I was so burnt out and stressed that trying to pay attention genuinely felt like I was mentally planking. And while my experience with professors varied a lot of the time I could tell that most of them just didn't want to be there either. I had so many professors that told me that the reason they started teaching is because the graphic design industry killed their artistic passion.
That's awesome.
See, the main reason I regret majoring in graphic design is because I had a realization one day that a career in this field would mean focusing all of my creative energy on making advertisements for corporations. What was I thinking? I hate advertisements and I hate corporations. Like, art and creativity are probably what I hold most dear to me in life, and here I was, learning how to use it for the enemy. Now, don't get me wrong. Graphic design isn't inherently evil at all. It's literally just an art form that can be used for so many cool useful and great things. But every day I would have professors tell us that the work we got to do in school would be way more fun than what we would get to do in the field. It turns out that there's only so many cupcake shops that need branding. You'll mostly just be making email templates, and when you might actually land a fun job, you'll probably be working with a client who will poo-poo all of your fun ideas, and then you'll be too burnt out to make anything you like on your own time. Well, despite bad professors, dumb classes I didn't want to take, being robbed of so much money, and my overall distaste for the way college is set up because of capitalism, I can't lie. In the years I have been in college, I have grown as an artist and a person more than I ever could have without it. If you can go to college without going into crippling debt, I really do recommend it. But if you don't want to, there are other things you can do. College isn't the only option. It's your life, do what you think is best. And I wish that somebody told me that a career in graphic design is not the way to go if I want to create art as a form of personal expression. It's just not for me, but it is for others and I respect that. And there are way worse jobs out there, and maybe I'll end up being a graphic designer anyways. But all of the lessons I learned in college have helped me with my own personal art too. I don't think my degree or the box I get to check off on my resume will be as valuable to me as what I learned from the cool professors I had who made an impact on me. I wouldn't be the person I am if I weren't shaped by my experiences in college. I wouldn't have this YouTube channel if I didn't learn Adobe After Effects in a class, and my entire MOOP identity came from experimenting after taking a branding class. Sometimes I wish I could do it all over again, but actually take advantage of the experience to actually meet people and perhaps get a degree in something else. But also, it's been 20 years of this shit. I never want to step foot into a classroom again unless I get to become the teacher. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you are still here, you're in the top 20%. I've said this before, but the 20% of people who stay to the very end of the video are a very special kind of people. And my Patreon peeps are especially special. I'll cry. Since my videos are so time consuming, I don't get to post as frequently as I'd like to. So you guys are the ones who make this possible for me at all. Thank you all for your support, and you have changed my life. Anyways, whoop out.